Look alive, team. We need to focus on the things that are going on inside of us, the things that we can control. Why do we need to focus on the things that we can control? Well, what else can you can't control? You can't control other people. You can try to manipulate, you can try to do back tactics. But what is that going to do for you? What is that really going to do for you? Is that going to get you to your goal any quicker? Is that going to get you to through life any quicker? In today's video, we're going to talk about the benefits of self-regulation, being able to control those emotions that happens in our lives. This is Coach Mike II with a 30-second word. Hit that like button, hit that share button, and if you're new, subscribe to this channel. Let's get to work. Team, self-regulation is extremely important. It matters about how you go about your life. When you don't have any regulation about yourself, you're pretty much a puppet on a string. You're giving your power away. We're too powerful to give our power away to anything, any person, any situation. So when we learn this simple tool of self-regulating the emotions, a couple of things happen. Number one, it keeps you calm and collected. When you're experiencing stress that is going on outside of your control, outside of your power, or if you're just experiencing some type of life change, life circumstance, it can create a different emotional attachment to something that maybe you cannot control. But if we're not checking that feeling that we feel inside, it's not going to allow us to remain calm, cool, and collected under the pressure. Pressure, it can do one of two things. It can either burst your pipe or it can make a diamond. Both require pressure, but one causes destruction, the other causes life giving. So, what we have to understand is that when we are developing self regulation, we are allowing ourselves to be cool and calm under the pressure that we are experiencing. And this, what can happen if we are allowing ourselves to keep cool, calm, and collective under the pressure. It allows us to be able to adapt and adjust to the situations outside of us. So, number two, what self regulation does, it helps us with our adaptability. One thing that you have to know in life is that you must be able to adapt and adjust to the situations that happen in your life. If you can't adapt and adjust, you're going to be missing out on a lot of things because you're going to be too distracted. A lot of times in life, it brings about distractions. And the reason for these distractions is that it's testing you. It's seeing where you want to go. Do you really want what you want? Do you really want this? So when we are focused on self-regulation, it allows us to adapt and adjust to certain changing circumstances because life is forever changing. Everything is changing in our lives. If you experience something last year, you might be experiencing something different this year. But how are you adapting and adjusting? If you have self-regulation, then it's easy. But if you don't have self-regulation, which can be worked on, it definitely can be developed. But if you don't have self-regulation, you're going to be missing out on a lot. You're going to be controlled. You're going to be blowing with the wind, swayed with the wind here and there. You ever seen a leaf blowing? Matter of fact, a feather. You ever seen a feather blowing in the wind? Or you ever cut the fan on, have a feather on? Well, wherever the wind blows, that's where the feather is going to take. When you lack self-regulation, you lack that adaptability to be able to adjust and adapt to any situation that comes about your way. Got to be a chameleon. Got to be able to blend in. Got to be able to mix and mingle. I think it was Bruce Lee who said, be like water. You got to be like water. Got to be able to flow and adjust. You can turn into steam. You can be liquefied or you can be a solid. Got to be able to adapt and adjust. Number three, what it will help us with self-regulation, what it will help us with, it will help us with corrective behavior. Checking yourself, checking those feelings. A lot of times we don't like to check those feelings. It feels too good to be all in that drama. It feels too good to be led by other things and places and people and circumstances and situations because it's easy to just go with the flow and blow with the wind. No, we need to have a solid foundation, team. The only way to have a solid foundation is you have a sense of self-regulation. You see, corrective behavior, it allows us to avoid those impulsive behaviors that might create a negative consequence, something that you have to apologize later for. Oh man, I shouldn't have did that. Well, if you had self-regulation, maybe you would not have done that. Many fights have broken out. Many things have created a sense of destruction or created some toxicity in your life because of lack of self-regulation. Especially you see this in relationships when people are arguing, when people are fussing and fighting and going back and forth. Sometimes it's due to lack of self-regulation. We are responding differently to the pressures and to the stress, which leads me into the fourth thing of what self-regulation will help us with is impulse control. You ever been to the store and you walk in the store? I'm going in for just one item. I just need one thing. That's all I need. I don't need nothing else. I don't even take a basket. You just walking in there without a basket, right? And so you get there, you get this item. You're like, oh. And before you know it, you got a handful. And now you're walking back to the front of the store to grab a basket because you couldn't control those impulses of buying those sales. You see those yellow tickets, those red tickets, half off and buy two, get one, and we get in this mindset of let me buy. And stores are very slick with it. They're very smart. They're very smart with the plantronics around the store to create that impulse buy, right? It's all about impulse buying. Whenever you go check out, you see all these candies down the road. Why? Because they know people come with kids and they know kids like candy. And they know sometimes most kids don't have self-regulation. And then the parents don't have self-regulation. And then all of a sudden, you got a whole basket full of candy. Let's get into the article of the day. Article of the day. We're going to read an article from Medical News Today. And it's titled, Why Emotional Self-Regulation is Important and How to Do it. And it states emotional self-regulation is a skill that people learn and develop throughout childhood and adolescence and into adulthood. So it is learned, something that you can definitely learn, team. Let's get rid of that stigmatism that I'm born with it. You only born with a few things, few capabilities. Other capabilities have to be developed. And the capabilities that you are born with, matter of fact, you are born with everything. You just got to work it. You just got to put the work in. So it can be learned and developed. And it says feeling strong emotions is healthy. Learning how to process emotions and respond with appropriate behavior is essential to a person's well-being. And I'm real big on this, team. There's nothing wrong with emotions. I always say this all the time. Sometimes we get caught up in an aspect of thinking emotions is a bad thing when it's not. Being led by your emotions is the bad thing, but the emotions itself, it lets us know, for one, lets us know that we're alive, lets us know that we feel, but it lets us know what we are attached to. It says lacking emotional self-regulation can perpetuate negative emotions. It can also have social repercussions, such as damaging relationships with others. What I was speaking about, the fighting, the going back and forth. When we don't have that self-regulation, we go off the handle. We want to talk about anything. We want to do anything to anyone. It creates a destructive behavior when we don't have self-regulation. When we operate in self-regulation, team, when we operate in that spirit of self-regulation, what we're doing, we're understanding what happens to our bodies before we actually feel that emotion. So you get a sense of feeling first, and then you have that emotion. It's kind of like an eruption. When a volcano erupts, something happens, a disturbance happens first. And when this disturbance happens, then the smoke comes up, then the lava comes up. But before then, there's certain tests or certain aspects or certain check engine lights that come on. I call it check your engine light. You have to check your engine light, team. Whenever a car is going off, it has this engine light. Sometimes it's red, sometimes it's yellow, but it has this engine light. And this engine light blinks, letting you know that, hey, we need a little service here. Something is going on. Something is happening and that you need to check this out. But when we ignore that engine light, destruction happens. Our engine blow, gasket blows, our car stops, we run out of gas. What happens when we're not paying attention? That's the same thing what happens to us. When we don't have that self-regulation, team, when we are not focused on what we need to do for ourselves to get to where we need to go, if we're not practicing self-regulation, we're losing the ability to adapt and adjust. We're losing the ability to have impulse control. We're losing the ability to have our behavior corrected. You need to check yourself. If we're not checking ourselves, then how are we being productive? I'm all about being more productive, building stress resilience, and changing that fixed mindset into a growth mindset where we can be more productive in our life. If you're not having self regulation, you're not able to be cool and calm under pressure. The greats are cool and calm under that pressure. So we got to get the work, team. If this video has touched you in any kind of way, don't forget, hit that like button, hit that share button with your friends and family. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. This is Coach Mike II with a 30-second word. Remember, self-work is the best work. So let's get to work. Peace.